Today's guest is Megan Barton-Hanson, a former Love Island contestant and now one of the top earning creators on OnlyFans. Born and raised in Southend-On-Sea, Megan moved from working class beginnings to build a multi-million-dollar career, using her platform to advocate for sex positivity and challenge societal misconceptions about sex work. In this episode, Megan shares untold stories from her life and career, offering fresh insights on resilience, success, and breaking free from judgment. We speak about Megan's younger years.
The only representation of lesbians or bi girls was very butch, and I was confused because I was like, that's not me. Maybe just like looking at the big old booties. I don't know.
Megan reveals the impact Love Island has had on her life.
They don't like to see a woman that's confident, goes for what she wants. But who does she think she is? She's just a stripper. Like this, bring her down a few notches maybe. Okay. They don't like assertive women, I feel.
And we explore Megan's path to authenticity and happiness.
It's like I've been chasing money from 19. I'm now 30. Who is Megan? What are hobbies? What does she enjoy doing? So I've really done a lot of like inner child work, looking at things that make me happy.
Before we get into it, I just wanted to mention something interesting that we've noticed recently. Around 9 in 10 of you watching these videos aren't subscribed yet. Now, no pressure at all, but if you're enjoying the content, subscribing is a super simple way to stay connected with us, and it also helps us out a ton with growing the channel. We also look at every comment, so make sure you comment with your guest ideas below, and we'll be sure to take note, and we'll try to get your favorite guest on future episodes. Please be aware that this episode covers topics that some listeners may find challenging. If you're affected by anything discussed, we've included links in the show notes to organizations and charities that can provide support. I appreciate you being here, so thanks for watching, and let's get into it. Where it always starts for all of us is where we grew up.
Yeah.
Right? So you were from Southend-On-Sea in Essex.
Yeah.
Do you know I visited there before?
For what? What on earth brings you to Southend?
It's funny, you're like, for what? And there were two distinct things I remember when I visited. One was all of the ships were like stuck in sand.
Yeah, so the side goes out, they're all like wonky.
I was like, where's the water? I thought it was Southend-On-Sea. You know what I mean? And then the other part of it was very working class area.
Yeah.
Right? So when you think about growing up, right, what do you think about that area most impacted the woman that you have now grown into?
I feel like it taught me about community a lot. I think a lot of like working class areas, there is like a big sense of like community. Everyone kind of like sticks together. Whereas I think more affluent areas, or where I got a bit of money behind me and I moved out to London, everyone's very segregated. They won't say hi to their neighbour or anything. So I think that was a good thing. But equally, small town mentality. If anyone stepped out of the norm or put a toe out of line, people are like, who do you think she is? What's she doing? And she's better than us. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, I'd say.
That's interesting. And I agree. You know, thinking about my background in the States, you're right. How was your relationship with your parents?
I think, so they were neighbours.
Really? When they grew up? Oh, wow. The story gets deep. Oh, my gosh.
But my dad was engaged to another woman before, and they broke up. And my mum was like the girl next door. So my dad's mum knocked up. She was an Avon lady. Do you know what Avon is?
Yes.
So she would knock on the door. And my mum answered, and she just must have just said like, oh, my son's like single. Why don't you two go on a date? And my mum was like, she said to me, she goes, I'd always like lurk out the window and just like see him and this like ex-fiance and be like, he's too good looking for her. Why is he with her? Like, that's what my mum.
Really?
And then, yeah, finally my nan said that, and she banged her man in the end, and they got married.
Now, you have a younger brother.
Yeah.
How did the family change, if at all, when your brother arrived?
I loved it. I think obviously, like, I don't know why this is ingrained as like young girls. You just want to like look after dolls and have like babies and be maternal. So when he come along, it's perfect. I was like, I've got my own little baby. I feel like guiding him since nursery. I remember walking around nursery and he couldn't even go to the toilet by himself. And I'd say to the ladies, it's fine, I'll take him, and be the mum, pull his pants up, do this. And if he got bullied at school, I'd be the older sister that would like back him, get in physical fights. Imagine me.
Really?
I'm so shy and quiet. But if he told me, like, someone said something nasty, I just have to put this, like, facade on and be like, who said what?
And you go in and fight them?
Physically fight, yeah.
Wow. I did not know this.
But I guess for family, I don't know.
It feels like, because I know that there's a lot of bullying that you faced early in childhood at school. And it sounded like you needed who you were to your brother.
Yeah. Oh my God. How are you so smart? I always said this. I would die for like an older brother. I was like, I wish I had an older brother that would be like, who do you think you are speaking to my sister like that? Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
But I think where I didn't have that, I was trying to be that.
You're trying to be that.
You're good.
Oh, thank you.
We're only like
All right.
5 minutes in.
We're done. What was the good about school and growing up and being in the South End?
I guess like no responsibilities. You could just do what the hell you wanted. It was fun. I knew really as much I tried in school, I wasn't like super academic. So I've recently been diagnosed with ADHD, so probably something to do with that. But I'd really try hard. Oh, this is going to make you laugh. So my first day in senior school, I literally thought if I go and beg my parents, who didn't have a lot of money, to go and buy me the nerdiest shoes, the nerdiest bag, and I dressed like a geek, I thought when I turned up in year 7 for my first day, all the information would just retain in my brain. I would become a geek. Apparently it doesn't go by what you're wearing. If you look like a straight A student, you're still not going to get the A's.
Oh my God. So where and how did the bullying start?
I mean, it wasn't severe bullying where I'd be like, okay, no, that's a lie. It was basically slut shaming, bullying, and for my appearance as well. But things like that, I could just kind of think, well, there's more to me than my looks. But I think all kids get bullied at school to some extent. Kids are cruel and they're going through their own shit, load of hormones, loads of insecurities. So if it made someone feel better one day saying, oh my God, like you've got a big nose or your ears stick out a bit or whatever, it hurt, but it wasn't like the be all and end all. And then a guy who was in year 11 was talking to me. So I was like, oh my God, I'm so popular. Like he wants to talk to me. Asked me to send him a sexually explicit video, but I was too scared. And thank God I didn't send it to him. And he goes, oh, I bet you haven't even like masturbated, have you? And at this point, honestly, I hadn't. But to seem older, I was like, yeah, I have. The next day, my life was a misery for like the next year until he left school, basically. That's the girl that fingered herself. Oh my God, she's not even that hot. Like, oh, that's disgusting. Why is she doing that? I'd walk down the corridors. That's the girl. All my girlfriends were like, why would you say that to him? We're so embarrassed, like barely wanting to hang out with me anymore. It was hell. And then imagine going home and I've had all that all day and I can't even tell my mum because it just wasn't spoken about in our culture, like in society, for women to speak about masturbation. So I can't go home and say, oh, I was trying to impress an older boy. I didn't send him the video, but said, yes, I had done the act, which I hadn't. And now I'm getting bullied for it. It was so hard.
What was being made fun of, by whom, and why?
So my ears like stuck out so bad. When I was talking about the bullying to my mum, I didn't feel comfortable telling her about the sexual side of it, but I could tell her about the appearance side. So I'd go home crying and just say, look, Mum, like, you can't let me go in school. Everyone's bullying me for my ears. Please, please, please. They had no money. So he went to the NHS and was like, look, she's getting bullied. And they'd done it on the NHS for my ears.
Really?
When I was 17, because it was like school was hell. I'd get anxiety. I used to remember being sick in the morning because I was so anxious to go in. We'd sit in assembly and I remember vividly hearing guys say, look at Megan and look at, I don't know, let's just make up a name, Polly, who's my best friend at school. Look at the difference. There's no competition. Polly's so much hotter. And I was just like, damn, like, not only is my life a misery to deal with that older asshole, now people are like ripping into me for my looks. I was like, what? And I'm not good at class. Like, what the hell?
Right.
It was a lot.
Right. So what is that? Is that procedure? Is it literally, it pulls your ears back?
Yeah.
Permanently?
Permanently, but they'd done it, but in such a mild way, it barely made any difference. And because of my age, when you wake up from the anaesthetic, the only painkiller they're trying to give you is paracetamol. So,
wow.
The pain, it was bad.
Oh my gosh. So do the kids at school know that you then get this procedure?
She didn't think this far ahead, did she? Went in with a bandage around my head like an absolute...
Wow.
One of the boys that bullied me slapped my head with the new ears. Imagine, I had like blood pouring down my neck. It was just, kids are evil. Honestly, I feel like if I have kids, they're being homeschooled because that is a feral environment.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. It's horrible. And then, does anything change? Do they now become nicer to you, or nothing has changed?
Well, they can't say shit about my ears, but they still are like, still the slut shaming was there. But I don't know, I feel better, I guess, because I just thought, fuck you. You've said something that you was bullying me for. I fixed it. Now what are you going to say? I think you do, as a human, you build up resilience and tolerance, whether that's pain, physical pain, or emotional pain. You do. Like, there's only so much someone can take. So I was just like, at that point, I just thought, whatever. At least I fixed it. You're still fat. You're still a bully. Whatever. I'm better than you.
Yeah.
I guess the same as like us in our industry now. We do this TV where we've got a social media presence, and there will be people that troll us, but it doesn't consume you. It's just kind of there and like background noise.
Yeah. But at 14, 15, 16, to have that background noise, it weighs on you. And I'm just wondering, who did you have to support you? Because if your friends are not supporting you, if you feel like you can't go to your mother, right? You don't want to bring it to your father. Your brother's probably too young. Who is supporting you?
Yeah, I guess just myself. Well, I felt like I fixed the majority of it with the ears being pinned back. I felt physically I looked better. Kind of just faded out into the background. Okay. And I guess the more I turned into a woman and like my body started to change and I was looking hotter and I started wearing more makeup, I just got more so shallow. But yeah, I guess I got more kind of acceptance.
Interesting. Because what I didn't realize, but already what I see is that appearance was a main part of your childhood.
Yeah, which is sad, really, because I would have loved to just have gone to school and been engrossed in, like I said, I liked fashion or art or something like that. But I felt like where all that other external, outside of class stuff was so loud and so I couldn't ignore it, kind of took over my school experience.
Yeah, it did. It did. I had no idea how absorbed you were in it so early, you know?
Until if you just look back at it, that's kind of annoying.
It's something. So then how did growing up in that environment, how did that inform your views on intimacy and self-worth?
I don't know. I feel like I didn't really correlate the two. It's almost like a bargaining tool with girls. Like, you're not allowed to sleep with someone until the 5th date. You have to make men work for it. And in my head, I just thought that's so like anti-feminist because it's like you're dictating your worth on when they can get to your vagina. And I was like, that's mental.
Okay, interesting. So in the teens, you were already thinking that there's too many rules to sex. Okay.
Like like you have to go on so many dates or you have to be boyfriend and girlfriend before you can do something. Like, why are you making it so regimented?
So structured. That's interesting. So how old were you when you had sex for the first time?
So I was trying to be really good. My mom was like, wait until you're 16, which is obviously like the legal age. So I think I was like a week before my 16th birthday. I was like, I'm so close. Like, why not?
That was your birthday gift.
Yeah, what a disappointment that was.
Oh, was it?
It was so bad.
Okay.
So I just hooked up with, well, I was seeing my best friend had a boyfriend and his best friend, I was with him.
Okay.
And I was like, he was like really popular. He was really tall. He was cute. And then after we like done the deed, my best friend and her boyfriend was in one room. Me and him was in another room. And he was like, just took your virginity. I was like, wow, that wasn't like the films, was it? I was like, what is all the fuss about? Like, you know, when you see American films and women like screaming and I'm like, it's all a bit like, for what? Like, what just happened?
All right. It was straight anticlimactic. I'm like, there's nothing. There's nothing.
It was basic as fuck.
At that point, do you feel as if you are heterosexual?
Yeah, it hadn't even crossed my mind to think about women in that way. Although, like, you know, when you're just like silly at school, like you'd just have a kiss or just do, I don't know, silly things. But it wasn't like, oh, one day I'm going to date a woman. Interesting.
So at what point do you seriously consider women?
I think in college I had a best friend, and she was just like Victoria's Secret model, like 5 foot, like tall, stunning. And I remember she would be like, oh no, I've got to go hang out with my boyfriend now. I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I just look at, it was kind of like in awe, but equally I kind of fancied her. But we never done anything. I never even expressed that. And it wasn't until after, when I started getting into glam modeling. And it was just seeing more like women's bodies around. Like, oh my God, like women are so stunning. Like we're beautiful. And then, yeah, I just kind of like had this weird flirty vibe with a photographer. And then, yeah, it kind of just escalated from there.
Okay. So that happened in college. All right. Where'd you go to college?
Southend-On-Sea.
Southend.
She didn't step far.
Okay. Southend in college. And this is where it seems like life changes for you. Did you tell your mother? Did you tell anyone?
No, not at that point. Because I was just like, again, wasn't spoken about, wasn't like mainstream, wasn't like okay. And I feel like the only representation of lesbians or bi girls was very butch, and I was confused because I was like, that's not me. I want to be a princess. I want to put makeup on and do my hair and be all cute. And I hadn't seen a more feminine type lesbian. So I was like, maybe it's just like, I'm just a bit of a perv. Maybe I'm just like looking at the big old booties and the nice titties. Like, I don't know.
but really? So you had no one to talk to throughout this, right? And already what I see between childhood and then you emerge into adolescence, right, into college, is that, did you have like a bestie, best friend?
Well, the girl, but then I was like kind of fancying her. But I'm just like, maybe I was just admiring her looks. Maybe I wasn't like crushing on her that much. I just appreciated that she was a stunning girl.
Okay. All right. But you thought you were just a perv because that's what you thought?
Yeah, and it wasn't just her. It wasn't just a perving on my best friend, but like other girls in college. I'd be like, I don't know, like, you know, when you just see a girl walking, you're like, oh my God, like her body is like amazing. Like it's sexualizing women, but like I'm human. Like that's how I felt.
Right. Okay. That's how you felt? That's how you felt? But you didn't have anyone to talk to about it?
No, not at that time. I think it was like 2 years into college that I got the courage up to start Googling, like, how do you meet lesbians?
Really? Yeah. Okay.
And there was a dating app called Her, and it's just for girls.
Yes. So you got on the dating app? Mm-hmm. Okay. So at this time, are you dating boys as well, or just both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this was like my secret for just me, really, about the girls. I just wanted to see because I didn't know for sure, and I do think society is like wants to put you in a box. So if I made this bold statement of, oh, I might fancy girls, back then, like it wasn't spoken about, that would be me. That would be my whole reputation. Not only was she the fingering girl at school, the girl with the sticky out ears, now she's a lesbian. So I thought, it's my business. Let me just dip my toe in, just see what this is about before I... This sounds made up, and it does sound like I've just made it up. But basically, my brother had a girlfriend. The first girl I meet works with my brother's girlfriend. I couldn't believe it. And she comes into my room. She's basically living with us. Comes into my room, sits down like this, takes a big deep breath. Megan, girl from work said you're going on a date with her tonight. please tell me you're not going to be a big fat lesbian. I was like, I didn't know where to look. Like, not the big fat. Like, no, I'm just a little bi-curious right now. Like, leave me alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Small town.
Literally. I don't know why I'm still living close to that area. I tried to move away.
Small town. So did you went out on the date?
Yes. She found out, but I still went on it because I was like, well, I've got nothing to lose now.
All right.
But what I didn't like is this obviously was still babies, but she was trying to like gender role us. So she'll be like, I'm a bit more tomboy than you. I'll do this and you're more of the girl. You do, obviously we're just young. But to me at that time, maybe I was like a bit more mature for my age. I just thought, I don't want it to be this of like who's the man, who's what. The point of being with a woman is we're both women. There is no roles.
Right. How do you help me understand this, right? Because I would imagine that, so you've spent your entire life in heterosexual relationships, and now you're going on your first date with a girl, right? Break down, like, how do you feel walking into that? You know, what's going on? Because I would, because it is different for you.
But I was so excited. I think probably I had so much trauma from guys that I dated, even just in that young age. I'd probably only slept with 2 people at this point. But because of the bullying and the guy slut shaming and all this, I was just so refreshed and like excited and be like, oh my God, maybe this is like who I'm meant to be with, like a woman. We're going to get each other. We're going to be like so much more in tune emotionally, on the same level. She's going to be kinder and soft. And I don't know, like, I just think like women's bodies were just like softer and cuter. Like men are just men, like they're a bit like, whereas like women are just like perfect little angels.
Yes. All right. So physically, clearly, you were super, super attracted to her at that time physically.
Yes.
But then did you get all those answers that you just asked?
No, like she was going back to like the whole gender role thing. And I felt very quickly that in the lesbian community, especially in like Essex and London, it's very, everyone knows each other. It's all very cliquey. And I'd never been a girly girl like that at school to be like, gossip isn't something that I just want any part in. People used to think I have more guy friends because I wasn't a girl's girl. That's not the case. For me, if I'm hanging out with someone, I want to talk about silly stuff, silly memes, videos, music, art, stupid experiences we've done, embarrassing moments, not sitting there thinking, oh, what's Susie done the other day? What's Jennifer? Like, who cares?
Right.
Live for you.
Right. I'm with it. So then at that point, do you begin to realize, wow, I'm bisexual? So you knew at that time?
Yeah, I knew that I definitely fancied women. I knew that the dynamic with a woman would be so different to what it has been with a man. It was just hard to pinpoint, especially from that small town, finding other bi-curious or gay girls to date.
You've had your ears pinned back, first procedure, right? Then you have your breast done. What drove you to get your breast done at that age? Because you are how old? 19?
19.
19.
And I'll be brutally honest, money. Really. If I deep it now as an adult, I think money. I had no issues. I was quite body confident with my natural boobs. But there was this girl, and she was on social media making a lot of money, basically doing page 3, but she was her own boss. And I was like, I remember saying to my first boyfriend, in between college and the lesbian girl, I had a few boyfriends. And I was like, babe, look, she's making so much money. Like, don't you think? It's kind of narcissistic, but I was like, don't you think I'm pretty? I could definitely do that if I had bigger tits. And he was like, yeah, of course you can. And I wanted my nose done because that was another thing from school kids would pick on. So I was like, And I hate being put to sleep after that traumatic time. I was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to get the tits done, the nose done, all in one. And I could make so much money.
I'm going to make money how?
Either on the social media platform like this other girl done that I aspired to be, or back then page 3 was still a thing. Okay. So I wanted to be like a glamour model, page 3 girl. Because I was working in London and it was just a minimum wage, like barely affording my train ticket to commute from Essex to London. I was like, this can't be what life is, surely.
Right, you wanted more. And it was interesting that you thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest in some breasts.
I'm going to get myself some titties.
And that's going to take, but quite honestly, it wasn't a bad investment. Because once you did that, then how did you start to monetize your new look?
I guess Instagram. I've got a lot to thank for Instagram, just posting more sexy pictures, I guess, and the likes started growing. I think before I was on Love Island, or before I even got picked up by any kind of like management agency, I was still a legal PA, but on the side, I was with my followers to like 200,000.
Okay.
Which was like decent considering I was just like some small town girl from Essex.
Yeah. And so you were posting photos of you, what I'll call it, scantily clad.
Yeah, like bikinis, underwear, or even just in gym clothes, but you could just tell the body was like...
Okay. Now, at this point, had you started working at the strip club?
Not until, I guess that gave me more confidence, which is sad. The more likes I got, but bear in mind, I'm getting more likes. I've got the 200,000 followers, but everyone in that small town, who does she think she is? What's she doing? Knew it from school. The fingering girl, now she really has. But I guess that kind of pushed me more to do it because I'd had that reputation from young when I literally done nothing. I thought, well, if that's your image of me in your mind, I'm not going to hold me back. I may as well capitalise. If that's the persona you've given me. And like I said, I was quite confident in my looks. Like, I do think I was horrifically ugly. I thought, I'm halfway there. Big pair of teeth, small on nose. Like, can make some serious money.
Wow. Okay. Very few people are transparent about they used it the platform to make money. You know, it's so thank you for that. How is it that you get into the strip club though? But you work at the law firm.
Yeah.
At this point. So why then become what would that be, an entertainer? Is that an entertainer?
I guess
Okay. So why why become a performer?
So I guess I was just like earning really bad money at the law firm. I just thought it wasn't worth the hours I was putting in. I was sitting on a train at 7 a.m, getting back at 7 p.m. I had a few hours, no money to spend on the weekend. I was like, this isn't a quality of life. So I was obviously investing in my looks, but that wasn't enough to live on either. What I was making on Instagram wasn't enough to survive on. I'd walk past a strip club and, oh my God, Paul, these girls outside, they just looked so happy. They were laughing. They looked stunning in their little outfits, like sequin spark. They were just like glamorous as fuck. And I was just like, oh my God, that could be me. Like, they look so happy and they're working. I didn't even tell my parents. I said, drop me off, and just walked in and said, hi, can I have a job? I was shaking. I didn't know. I'd never stepped foot in a strip club. I didn't even know what I was supposed to be doing once I got there. But I just knew these women looked sick. They were happy and they looked like they had loads of money. And that's what I wanted.
Interesting. So you thought this was your way to get the money and the happiness?
Yeah, like some sort of purpose in life.
Okay.
I was being sexualised by the trainee solicitors, the way they'd look at me, the little things they'd say. So in my head, and I've always been very strong and like stubborn, I was like, if you're going to sexualise me when I'm dressed in like a pencil skirt and tights on minimum wage, basically, I'm going to go and be sexualised where I can make so much money. I've got all the free time in the world and I can be my own boss. So yeah, that's what I'd done. And it did. For the first year, I thought I'd made it. I thought I was Alan Sugar. I was like...
Oh, wow. You were making it. You were making it.
To me, like now it's just like, okay. But like back then I was like, yeah, I've made it. I'm so glad I got out of these like shackles of like what society says is good and trying to please my parents. I'd done that for 3 years and I'd done what they asked of me and it wasn't making me happy. So it was really freeing.
But what did you call yourself? Like, because I always find it hard because terms change. It's like, what is politically correct? Like back in the day, that would be a stripper, you know?
It is just a stripper.
But it's just a stripper.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a stripper, but also a sex worker, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So how would you define sex worker?
So I've just started using that since like post Love Island because I felt people were trying to say, oh, well, she was only a glamour model. Oh, did you do porn? And I just think whatever it is, any realm of sex work, whether it's you're an escort, you're like someone who I don't know, does like topless pictures, or you go around and do butler in the buff as a man.
Right.
That's all under that umbrella of sex work. You're being paid to be performative, like sexually, whether people are touching you or not. You're like an object of desire that people are looking at, I guess.
Okay, fair. So you were a sex worker. And at this point, did you get what you really wanted? Because you got the money, but it seems like what you really wanted was happiness. Did you get it?
I was happy. I'd say they were like some of the best memories of my life working in that strip club for the first year.
Wow.
It gave me a sisterhood that I'd never had with girls. Like growing up when the girls ostracized me for no fault of my own for being bullied by a much older guy. These girls, they could tell I wasn't like the average stripper. I'm very introverted and very geeky and shy. And they would, I thought they was going to hate me and be like, bitch, get out. Like, you're taking money off us. There's another girl here. Fuck off. But they were so lovely. They was like, don't be shy. Like, it's fine. You'll settle in. We'll teach you how to dance on the pole. If any man, like, gets too close to you, just kick him. Like, tell us. We'll be next to you. It was so, and I never felt that ever in my life, like that sisterhood and community. And it was lovely.
Wow. You found happiness and peace at the strip club.
I thought I cracked it, yeah.
Yeah, and you're making money. So how do you get to Love Island from that point?
So just the social media presence started picking up more and more to the like 200,000 followers. And from the strip club, girls in there would, if the night was bad and only one customer would come in, we've sat there for 6 hours and we've made like 20 quid. So they would have backup options of doing like webcam, which is similar to OnlyFans, but a bit more explicit, I would say. Or maybe people do it on OnlyFans. So it's just like a FaceTime, but these guys are paying per minute to chat to you. And the idea is to either like give them a dance at the end or you can do more.
Okay.
So that was making like a lot of money doing that. Then some guy come on the chat and was like, hey, do you want to work for me? And I was like, doing what? And it's, you know, the TV channels where you call a number late at night and they're waving the phone like, hey.
yeah, definitely.
It was one of those. So I was like, do you know what? You're all right. I'm like happy making money from my room, not paying you commission. And he probably could tell like the business, like whatever inside me, like, oh, okay, she thinks she's about it. Like she doesn't need my channel, because a lot of girls would do it just because it's clout of being on like whatever channel it was. They thought that gave them a bit more of a leg up in this adult industry.
Okay.
I was like, no, I'm making more for my bedroom, thanks. And he was like, oh, okay. He's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm bringing out like this magazine, so I'll pay you to come and shoot just for the magazine. I was like, oh, okay. And then from that, I met like loads of other girls who were on Love Island, Hannah Elizabeth, Cara Delehoy. They all worked for this guy in this magazine. So that's how I met.
Okay, so that's how you met them. So and also too is in the strip club too is what I find interesting about strip clubs is that it is like, I think, the rawness of society. What did you learn in particular about men? Because I would imagine it was vast majority of men in there.
Yeah.
What did you learn about men working at the strip club?
So much. Like, it opened my eyes. I feel like I grew up like 5 years in that 1 year that I worked there. Just not even just men, but just like humans in general.
Okay.
A lot of people from the outside would assume a strip club is like seedy, a lot of like drink, drugs, chaos, like unhappy people there escaping life. But I'll be honest, like my biggest and most regular clients were guys who'd either lost their wives, had low self-esteem, just divorced someone, just very lonely people looking for a companion. And people like, oh, maybe that might make you feel better about it. I don't care either way. If you're there to look at my tits or you're there because you want a friend, I'm getting paid either way. But I just think a lot of these men, and that's why I'm so always like an advocate for men to speak about mental health, because they don't have a place to vent. And a lot of it was just sheer loneliness. They just wanted to come and chat to me.
Wow. So there were moments where literally you didn't take your clothes off. You would just talk to them.
They would pay me for a dance, and sometimes we would just sit and chat for the whole time.
Goodness.
And I think that's what they wanted. I'm very competitive, so I wouldn't leave unless I was the top earner out of all the girls every shift. So I think a part of that, sometimes, I'll be honest, I didn't really care too much for their life story, but I think how I wasn't the most beautiful, I wasn't the most talented dancer, but I love hearing about people. I find it fascinating. I feel I'm a very kind person. I don't want anyone to feel alone or they haven't got anyone. So I'd really build up a friendship and ask them, like, I was such a music geek. I'd be like, what music do you like? What kind of things are you into? And really get to know them rather than be like, oh, you're right, babe, should we go for a dance?
Megan shared something powerful with us when she said she worked at a strip club and saw a side of men many of us overlook. A lot of her clients weren't there for reasons you'd expect. These were men struggling with loneliness, loss, and low self-esteem. Often they pay for a dance just to sit and talk with her. It's a reminder that many men don't have safe spaces to share their feelings, and loneliness is more common than we think. So what's the lesson? Never underestimate the power of listening and connection. A little compassion can make someone feel seen, and that can change everything. So you learned all these incredible things about other people. What did you learn about yourself?
Probably that I'm braver than I thought. I was painfully shy at school. If I got asked a question, the teacher said, Megan, do you know the answer? I'd be like, hyperventilating, no, don't look at me. And then I think dancing, it just gave me this confidence of like, seeing all these other strong women around me, all different shapes and sizes, ages. Some had like 4 kids and some had like, I don't know, we're just different. And I just think everyone in their own way is so beautiful. And it really made me feel accepted.
Yes. You know, so that was the moment where you feel like you broke out of your shyness. Is that when?
For sure.
You know a big place that shyness comes from that is not talked about enough? And that is children who were bullied.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because when you're bullied as a child, what you're doing is you're going to the social, you're going to the public, and it's negative stimuli, right? So what you do is you tell yourself, you know what, if I go into the public, it's bad, right? So it makes sense, right, that you would be so shy. And you know, we have to be thankful for the strip club. Because this strip club was your salvation. It really was.
Literally. Do you think that wouldn't have happened if I didn't do that with age and just growing up? Do you think that really just like sped it up?
Absolutely. Well, if you didn't have a place where you could then begin to become confident, you could have regressed. Without a doubt, that time in your life changed your life for the better. You know, and you rarely hear that about strip clubs.
Yeah, everyone has like really negative views on it and stuff. But I think obviously there was something like stuff that happened, but ultimately it molded me to be the person I was. And like you said, I felt win after win. I showed up even though I was shy and I got the job in the first place. Yes. I was making money, making friends, being the top, even little goals I'd set for myself, be like, right, I'm not leaving until I've earned this amount of money, and I'll do it. And I guess that's just another like confidence block, isn't it?
Yes. During this time, you're interacting with a lot of people from Love Island, right? And then you end up, I think you were invited to Love Island early, and you decided not to go on, or what happened?
So the season before, they wanted me on, but as like a Casa Amor girl, and I was like, still too shy to do that. I'm not trying to like go in there and be a bulldozer. And I just physically can't. As much as I did gain so much confidence, I still am like an introvert. Like I don't want to be the center of attention all the time and like go in and like fuck shit up. I was like, oh no, it's too much pressure.
Okay. So you passed on it though. But at this time though, this is one of the biggest shows in the UK. Right, and it's becoming bigger. It's becoming bigger. Now, a lot of people wouldn't pass on that. But did you pass just because you weren't confident enough?
This is why I'm so complex. You might be able to help me with this because people think I'm lying when I say I'm an introvert, but then I'm a stripper, but then I'm shy. I'm just very complex. So my logic was when I met with the Love Island execs and producers, I could tell by their body language they was excited about me, they liked me. So when they asked me to go for Casa Amor, I was like, it's too deep in there now to really like make an impact. I'm too shy to really fuck shit up, and I wouldn't feel comfortable. I'd be on edge. It wouldn't come across as really me. I just thought, no, I'll turn down this year. They will get me back next year. Imagine if they didn't. I'll not even be here now. But right. I just had that kind of ignorant mindset.
Wait, I don't know if that was ignorant. I think you started to develop self-esteem. You were outperforming what everyone in your area thought you would.
Yeah.
During that year, so you pass on it, right? During that year, what are you doing? How are you making money? How are you getting by?
Most of the money came from like OnlyFans and webcamming. But then on my Instagram, that would give a slightly more polished version of jet setting. Oh, she's doing that. I remember somehow I managed to blag myself into a photo shoot with Snoop Dogg.
Oh, what?
I don't know how I'd done that. I was like, yeah, she's meeting all the celebrities now. She's about it.
You know what's interesting is how much of social media posts do you believe is just a facade?
So much.
Like almost all of it, right?
Yeah, I'm terrible now. Now I've actually been on Love Island. I'm the worst influencer. I just don't believe it. Do you? When you see stuff?
No, now I don't. I used to.
I'm like, who are you trying to convince that this is a nice, cool Sunday? You or everyone else?
Yeah, I used to believe it, but you're right. Now it's like everything is set up, everything is positioned. It's no longer like a highlight reel of someone's life. It is what you want everyone to think is the highlight reel, of your life.
I'm so glad you agree. Like sometimes when I look at these like perfect girls and I'm like, their coffee's there and they're walking the sausage dog and it's all cute. I wonder like if you're beading with sweat, like trying not to shake the latte, like fuck up the little design on top and the dog's just shit on the carpet. I'm like, what's actually real?
Yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible. But you knew this, right? And I think that the one place, and we'll get to a little bit later in this talk, is you are astute. You're a businesswoman. They come knocking again.
But this time, I'm such a stubborn asshole. Honestly, it's the first year I had a case packed. All the outfits, everything was prepped. The hair was like ready every week. Now I was waiting for the call. But obviously, they left it. Next year, I was stubborn. I was like, no, do you know what? I'm over it. You wasted my summer last year. I couldn't travel so much because you had me waiting. And then they called me. It was like, can you come? I'm like, yep. I'll be there. On FaceTime to my brother. And I'm like, Curtis, pack a case now. He's like, what? I don't know what you need. I'm like, just any kind of bikini, anything sparkly. Get your girlfriend in my room now. Go through every drawer. Any high heels, put them in there.
It's like, I'm going. And you went. Now, when you were walking in, right, when you think about it now, was it your objective to try to use this to then propel everything, OnlyFans, everything?
So I kind of got sick of webcam at this point. So bear in mind, I'd been at the strip club at 19, I'm now 24.
Okay.
So that's, what's the maths?
5. Yeah.
That's why she's a stripper.
It's all good. We all have different talents,
Yeah, quick maths isn't that. So, 5 years in the sex industry, I'm over webcamming, dancing, just hearing men's comments on my body at this point. I'm shy, I'll be in there a week, but my following is going to go through the roof, and that means I can charge more for my OnlyFans.
Okay.
That was all I was there for.
Now, the focus was, how can you grow more OnlyFans subscribers?
Make money, because I don't really have a job at this point. We're just trying to get the money.
Okay, fair. So now, real question here. How many other people do you think on Love Island were there for the money as well?
95%.
95%.
Who would admit it? One. Me.
You. Right. So 95%, according to you, right, are there for the money. But because of that, because we know the industry, right, we know that, okay, so that means that you have to, you need a storyline, right? So did you go in thinking, okay, I need to really almost own a character?
Not
or
really.
No?
When I said the producer got excited, it's because I was like, at the time I was dating a couple and I told them this. I was going to sex parties. I told them this. I thought, oh my God, this girl is nuts. She's wild. So I thought they're already going to kind of pigeonhole me into this sex crazy ex-stripper, feisty. I knew that part was done for me. So I just thought, I'm just going to go. I've just got to be me. And the first conversation I had was with Dr. Alex, who was a very straight-laced, like, society would love him, perfect person. He goes, oh, I'm a doctor. I was like, oh, I'm a stripper. I thought, well, that's it now. Band-Aid's ripped off. That's me. I'm here. Now I can just breathe and be myself. And yeah, that's all I did. And I just quite quiet. I didn't play anything up. I didn't force anything.
Okay.
I got with one guy who was like beautiful. I loved him, like in the moment, like looks wise, but our personalities just didn't align. So I dropped him out, which again was a risk. So I was like, Meg, if you want to get to the final, you should just stay with your couple to try and win.
Right.
But I'm not an actress. So I just couldn't do it. And I thought, oh, it's too many hours in a day to sit around trying to make conversation with this guy. Like, we've got nothing in common. As beautiful as he is, like, what are we talking about? So I broke it off with him. And then the producers were like, you and Wes have like a little something. Why don't you chat to him? I was like, no. It's with Laura. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, don't you think it would be kind of iconic, though, if you did? And I was like, yeah, actually, it would.
So you were thinking, iconic.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I didn't think, obviously he was a lot younger than me. I was 24, he was 21. And I just thought, he's probably in here for the same sort of reasons I'm in here. To be famous, to be known, for whatever he wanted to do as the end goal. I didn't know and you couldn't really discuss on camera. But I thought we was on the same sort of page. I'd done that. And I didn't expect to like catch feelings for him. But I did. It's weird. I was in there for 8 weeks. And yeah. I did fall in love, which is kind of not annoying. It was beautiful and I love it and I don't regret it. But I just feel bad. Then people actually go in there for love and don't find it. And there's me just trying to boost the old OnlyFans. And I come out like, oh my God, I'm in love.
And you fell in love.
Yeah.
You fell in love. Do you feel as if, so you loved Wes. Do you feel as if he loved you?
I think he did. I think to go through that sort of experience where you're both normal people and then you come out with newfound fame and opportunities and experiences that can be overwhelming and scary. I remember doing things and I think if it wasn't for him, the first time we walked through an airport, there were crowds and paps and my hands were shaking and his hands were shaking. I was like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not doing this on my own.
Yes.
And I think for that, I'll always like treasure like him and them times we had. But I think really, he was about 21. If my brother come off a show with a girl at 21, I'd be like, Kurt, go on your PAs, shag who you want to shag and do what you want to do. So there's no kind of like resentment that it didn't work out. I think he's an amazing, wonderful guy, but age and life, you know?
Right. But when you got out, though, when you both got out, you're now in a relationship, right? You're trying to make it work. But at the same time, your original goal was, I'm here to make money. Your thought is he's here to try to propel his career. So how do you then manage that, especially with the press?
It all got flipped and turned because when I come out, I didn't realise I thought there'd be a bit of backlash for the sex work, the OnlyFans, but it was so much hate. So they called me Muggy Megan on like the front page of The Sun. And it wasn't just about being a sex worker, it was about my looks and my appearance. And I really was like, it felt to me like public enemy number one. Like everybody hated me. There were like headlines saying her sleazy past, this, that. There's terrible headlines. And my dad apparently fled the country because he was so ashamed that I was his daughter, even though he came into the villa and hugged me and was there. So it was just a lot. So
I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Your dad left the UK during that time.
That's what the newspaper said,
Okay.
because he was so ashamed of me being his daughter, but he was still on the TV show.
Right, okay, I see.
So my whole point to like make money on OnlyFans was now absolutely like fucked, to be honest, because everyone thought it was such a sleazy past. I've come out and been sat around tables with like 7 journalists and Wes is next to me and they're like, so does Wes know about your porn past? And I was like, what?
Wow.
Like I've never started like a porn film. Like I'd just done like webcam and stuff. So I was made to feel that it was so dirty and disgusting that whole point I went in was just like left in the past.
My God. I mean, at that point, I can't imagine how you're feeling because you had this plan, right? And the plan is now just falling apart in front of you. And do you feel like the press was playing you're the bad girl, Wes is the good guy?
Yeah. But not even about playing me against him. It's just me by myself. Like they don't like to see a woman that's confident, goes for what she wants. I don't think it was very nice of people to see that I was with a really respectable, beautiful man like Huel before, and then things didn't work out with Huel, and then I got with Wes. They thought, oh, who does she think she is? She's just a stripper. Like, let's bring her down a few notches, maybe.
Okay.
They don't like assertive women, I feel.
Okay. During that time, you know, the opinion of your parents, I could see that means a lot to you. You know, do you think your parents were proud of you?
They would never tell me they're not proud, but bear in mind, when I told them I was going to work in a strip club, they both cried tears until they saw how much money I was earning. And for them to write headlines that my dad fled the country, it must be embarrassing on that perspective, because then it would make my dad think, damn, should I be embarrassed of her? I don't know. I felt sorry for them that I dragged them into my bullshit when all I was trying to do was better my life. And now their friends and co-workers might have an opinion on them, and I just didn't want to bring shame or embarrassment on them when I loved them like so much. They've done the best they could for me. And they was proud until it was in a big public space with national newspapers.
Now, this is where I have some experience in this, right? Because, I've had countless articles, written about me that are not positive, but never to the degree that I've seen articles written about you, especially like front page, you know. And what I also find interesting is that these were folks who were writing articles not about what you were saying, but about how you looked. It feels like we're right back at you in childhood. So reading those, how are you feeling reading that?
Like, awful, honestly. It was hell. And it was even before my feet had even touched down in the UK, was all allowed out after the final party to be in this holding villa. We put on YouTube to play music. What's on there? Megan before and after, how vile she was before. And it's like the picture they had used, I was 16 or 7, like I was a child.
Yes.
So I'm just lucky that like God or whoever was just watching over me, was like, let me give this poor cow a break and let her like at least fall in love for a minute while she's going through this shitstorm.
It was the love that got you through. So this is 2019 when this happens, which is the year I met you. What then happens with your love?
Oh, so this is when it gets really dark. This was like the worst part of my life. So I'd come out, all the negative press, like worse than I could ever imagine. So then the whole idea of making money had just been put on like hold. I couldn't trust. I'd always, when I was in the strip club and working in that thing, I was my own boss. I had no one dictating to me. So to find a manager for me, I just didn't feel comfortable that people weren't going to use me and tell me to do different opportunities that were quick money. I needed longevity, because now my sex industry thing has just been torn to shreds, and I was this sleazy ex-porn star that everyone was like, And I've just said in interviews, that was in my past. I was just growing. I wasn't academic. That's behind me. I was on the cover of Grazia. I thought, okay, this is my new classy, straight life. But I just didn't know who to trust in terms of management. So I just turned a lot of work down and just focused on like, I don't know, I guess just being in love, being in this relationship, and then thought, let's not rush into a quick deal. You know, when people do these fast fashion deals and it just all goes to shit.
Yes.
I was like, let me just sit for a second. Because I knew, I was like, although I was hated, I was still, other than the winners, Danny, I was quite like one of the top talked about ones.
Yes, you're quite popular.
So,
Yes.
so I was trying to just like chill with that for a second. But in the meantime, my baby brother, who I've looked after from being a baby, had a mental breakdown. So that was like, that was hell. And then Wes cheated on me. And it was just like, oh my God. It was just a lot. And like that 6 months was just mental. I thought, Christ, I only wanted a few more OnlyFans followers and to carry on getting my tits out. Why has this gone so bad? But yeah, it was hard.
We have to talk about your brother. Because here's the one that you protected.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you couldn't protect him?
I didn't know, like, every day, even when I'd, like, work with you and be filming, I'd be like, is he going to be alive tonight? Or is he, like, is something going to happen? And I would just get the call that, like, something bad's happened. It was crazy, and I don't know if you've ever experienced someone having, like, psychosis and, like, a mental break. It wasn't him. It wasn't my brother that I've looked after from him being tiny. He was just gone, like... And I felt horrible and helpless because he would turn up at my door and I'd be like, I can't see you like this. It would scare me, even though he's my brother. Like, he just wasn't him. But, yeah, I just think it compounded all the different things, the trolling, the headlines. It was the public humiliation aspect of that. Then my brother, I just thought, fucking hell.
It all hits you.
Can't you get a break?
You know, this makes sense why when I met you, you seemed to be just a shadow of yourself.
I literally was. I don't know how I'd done it. I would turn up and I'd just be this robot and just be like, go on these dates with people and just go through the motion. I wasn't there.
And I didn't realize how close it was. So, we met on Celebs Go Dating. But at this point, you must have just broken up with Wes.
Yeah. And I said to the psych, and I said to them, the only trigger for me, I don't want to see him. Please don't bring him on the show, because I was in love with him still for a long time, probably like a year. Because especially being a sex worker, like, my life didn't allow me to meet men like that. So then to have like 8 weeks with this person, and it's not because how much money, I'm not paying for his shit. It's not because he can like brag to his mates. It was for me. I felt he loved me for me. So that was really, really hard. So I said to producers, please, just one thing, don't bring him on, because I can't. And then luckily Jack Fincham, who was filming with us, give me the heads up. By the way, he signed a contract, is coming on, and I went mental. I was like, do you think I need to be here for this money? I'm leaving.
Wow.
It was a lot.
Now it's bringing back my memories. But it ended up that he didn't come on.
No, because I said I would leave.
There you go.
But like, I could, my mental health. But what a full circle for me to be like, I'm going on Love Island for money. That bit me in the ass, didn't it?
What a full circle, though. You went out for money. You then fall in love. You then break up. You're in this haze now. I have to ask? So if you still have feelings for Wes, your brother is going through the toughest time of his life. You're going through the toughest time in your life. Why come on Celebs Go Dating?
Because I didn't have a job. I didn't know where I was going from there. If I'd come off of this show, I'd been publicly ridiculed for being a sex worker stripper, which I was so happy and confident in my own little bubble with. And my morals didn't change. I still believe it's one of the bravest jobs you can do.
Yes.
Liberating, powerful. And there's only a demand for it because of men. So if they've got an issue, don't be such pervs, we would be out of a job then. The issue's solved. But I got publicly like scrutinized for that. So I didn't know where I was going to go if I didn't take the job. I didn't want to be homeless. I was paying my own rent. Like, I didn't have rich parents to rely on. I had to make it work.
Yeah. So at this point, your thought is okay, I'm going to be on this show and I'm here really for the check. And hopefully I get some opportunities out of it.
I am selfish. Well, I say selfish, but I try and like, you could say positive, you could say selfish, I don't know. I thought, since I'm there, and do you remember when I was trying to date girls in Southend and there was none?
Yes.
I was like, this can be my little fun part then. So really, I'm heartbroken over my brother and Wes. I'm publicly humiliated. But if I'm going to do this show, I'm going to make the money and they can nitpick me girls where I don't know how to find these hot girls. So
there we go.
Yeah.
And now we have Demi Sims.
What a babe.
Oh my gosh, I love Demi. Right? I love the whole family, right? I love the whole family.
Oh, they're iconic.
I think a lot of people thought when you did Celebs Go Dating, you know what? This is a gimmick. This bisexuality situation is all a gimmick. But clearly it wasn't. But did you feel that as well?
Yeah.
That people thought it was a gimmick?
I saw it all, the headlines, oh, she's just trying to stay relevant and do this and do that. Little did they know that it was like downloading Hinge when I was like 16 and being called like a big lesbian by my brother's ex-bird. Like, obviously there was something in me that liked girls. But
also not just you though. Don't you feel as if when women have queer relationships that they're just not looked upon as serious?
Yeah, true, actually. And I think it's maybe not personal. And because I was like a woman who it seemed to be like glamorous and stuff and like maybe like quite sexual, that she's doing it for more male attention. She's trying to please men. Mm-hmm. Do you think? Mm-hmm. Maybe some people thought that.
Yeah, I think so. But you were into Demi. My wildest moment ever of Celebs Go Dating was a scene with you.
Oh, no.
But I'm sure you have no idea because you were completely wasted in this. What island did we go to? We went to some island.
Crete, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Crete. We were doing a scene. It was me, you, Anna, Demi in the scene, right? You two had way too much to drink. You had a shirt on that basically was like suspenders over your breast. It was just like your nipples were covered up. Your mic kept falling out, and you had at one point, because I was sitting next to you, you said like you were telling me to move your mic, and I was like, I'm not moving the mic. I was like, I'm not moving the mic. Someone grab it.
I'm so sorry.
And I couldn't even understand what you were saying. You were like, I said, what are you saying?
I can't believe this. Did you notice my accent goes Australian all of a sudden when I'm drunk? I start going like, you're right, man.
I was like, what is going on? But when we came back from Crete, we landed at the airport, and that's how I could really tell on Celebs Go Dating. And even on Married at First Sight, I could tell when the cameras are off if the relationships are real.
Yes.
And I saw you two holding hands in the airport.
Yeah.
So that was a real relationship.
Yeah, even to this day, I love her, and we still have like a flirty friendship. But yeah, I wish it did. It could have progressed more.
Do you believe in soulmates?
I think you can have many.
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah. So I don't believe in soulmates. In that, I don't believe that soulmates are found. I believe that soulmates are created.
Right.
Right. And to me, it's created through the good times, the bad times, etc. And what ends up happening is that you end up building emotional intimacy.
When I was in my 20s, I say to my friends, pisses me off. I used to look at a man and be like, oh my God, you've got a six pack and like you're really tall, like let me do bits. Now, unless I respect you, like it's got so much like heavier now for me as I've got older.
One of the most important lessons here is the idea that soulmates aren't found, they're created. Relationships thrive when we lean into the process of building emotional intimacy through trust, safety, and shared experiences. It's not about perfection or waiting for the right one to appear. It's about choosing to grow together, even through challenges. True connection deepens when we prioritize respect and vulnerability. This is a reminder that the relationships we cherish most are the ones that we nurture intentionally and consistently. The magic isn't in finding, it's in creating.
So how did that happen? Was it just a conversation? Was it her? Was it you? How did it happen?
It was me, really. I think as much as she ticked so many boxes and I loved her company and I found her beautiful and smart and funny, I just think the whole where I was at my life, I wasn't ready. My brother was still going through it, even after we wrapped filming. Really, I hadn't addressed with the feelings that I had for Wes, which had been a long time. I think I was single for like 3 years prior to Love Island.
Okay.
So I was still kind of like processing that. My mind was just scrambled. I was like, what am I going to do now? This show's wrapped for money next. Like, I didn't know. That was just a really dark time. And I just felt the last thing I needed to do when I respected her. And I don't know why, it's probably wrong, but I have more respect, I guess, or like, I want to safeguard her feelings, but just quickly ending it. Whereas if it was a man, I know it's mean, I probably would have like played him along a bit and just been like, let's just fuck around and find out and see what happens. Because you're a big tough man. Whereas with Demi, she's a beautiful princess. I'm not trying to hurt her like that.
Wow. So you cared about her so much that you wanted to be transparent and honest with her.
And to be honest, she probably won't mind me saying, since the show, we have like flirted and like gone on dates, and that's always a thing that keeps me back. And even her mum said to her, she said, I think she loves you so much as a friend. I don't have a big circle of friends. I respect her and love her so much. I don't even want to push it over that boundary of more than just kissing, because I feel like I am a lover girl, and I feel like if we like fully do, like, I don't know, I don't want to ruin what we have.
Wow. So right now it's a good friendship.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah. I love it. What I say too is shout out to Demi Simpson, one of the best dressed people out here on the planet,
she's so
man.
Effortlessly cool.
Oh my gosh. I like looking, I was like, I'm gonna definitely do that. Like, I'm just gonna do it in a different color. You know what I mean? Yeah, she's effortlessly.
So are you, that you always dress nice.
Oh, man, you're on point as well. We Need to Talk is quite literally brought to you by Adobe Express, the quick and easy create anything app from Adobe. The team uses it to create materials for the show, from the cover art to the social posts. But I think you'll get a lot out of it too. What sets Adobe Express apart is how it puts content creation within reach for everyone. Whether you're making a personal vision board, drafting a business manifesto, or creating social content on the go. With templates for everything from Instagram Reels to presentations, you can easily make it your own without starting from scratch. It's intuitive and accessible, so you can bring your ideas to life effortlessly. And that's the beauty of it. Adobe Express makes sure that creativity isn't just for the professionals. It's for anyone with an idea. It levels the playing field, giving you the confidence to create something that truly stands out, no matter where you're starting from. Search Adobe Express to get started.
When it comes to love, we're all on our own journey. And that means any advice we're given should be tailored to our love goals, not someone else's. This is where my show and Tinder, who sponsor this podcast, have teamed up to help you. Each week on We Need to Talk, I'll explore love and relationships through a different lens, so you can get the advice that relates to your romantic situation. Tinder is for all types of relationships, and I truly believe it has the best tools to help you form the connections you're looking for. That might be long-term commitment or short-term experiences. Maybe it's friendship. But regardless of which part of the journey you're on, Tinder and I are here to support you. Their app is full of possibilities, and it's designed to help you explore every kind of connection. It starts with a swipe, so download Tinder today.
You said you are now single, and you've been single for how many years?
I had like brief periods of seeing people, but I wouldn't say, like I was with people for like 6 to 9 months.
Okay. So brief periods, but single. Do you believe that it's harder for you to date?
1,000%.
1,000%. Why?
Multiple reasons. I feel like even if I wasn't in the public eye, just being a sex worker, as much as I hate to admit it, there is a level of like people respect you less. I don't know how to phrase that. They're not disrespecting me, but they just don't hold me in such high regard as a woman who maybe just had a normal job and said she's only had like 2 sexual partners. There is, either it's conscious or subconscious, I feel like there's a level of, you know?
Yeah, a little bit less. Does it feel that way when you're on dates? Does it feel like it does?
Yeah.
How so?
So it's a mixed bag. Sometimes guys turn up and they're literally shaking, and I'm like, whoa, like chill out. I'm not gonna like eat you. I know everyone said Megan's a man eater, but like let's not take it literally. Like you're fine, I'm not gonna hurt you. But then other times they'll come and within the first 10 minutes they're like trying to get cocktails in, trying to be like talking about sex, and I'm like, no. If you wanted that, go and get someone off of like a website, because that's not what I'm here for. It's like you wouldn't go on a date with a doctor within 10 minutes be like, oh, mate, would you look at my arm? It's really sore. Like, fuck off.
That's true. That's true. That's very good. So the dates, they're very sexually aggressive.
A lot, I find. With like, people that I'd meet on like dating apps. And then it's just hard with people like in the industry. It's like, do you actually like me for me, or are you just trying to get some press? And like, it's just a tricky one.
Yeah.
It's a minefield.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. Do you find that, is it easier to date men or women?
Easier to date women, but once you get into it and you catch feelings, I think is so many emotions with women.
Okay.
And that's what's kind of put me off. I would never say never with a woman, but I think where I stand now, obviously I'm aware of my biological clock, and I've turned 30, and my mum had quite like an early menopause. So I feel like I've got 10 years max to have kids.
Okay.
So it's not a point now where I can just like date for the sake of dating. I want to date with intention.
Interesting.
So if a woman, I just happen to meet them, I'm not going to like rule it out, but I'm not going to be on apps looking for women just because the emotional, it's just a lot. I feel I'm quite headstrong and stubborn, and whether it's internalized misogyny or what, I just sit more comfortably. Like if a man bosses me around a bit, it's like, babe, can you go? I don't know why. I just think, oh, okay then. Whereas if a girl and she's another female, I feel like with my ex, we were just competing on every level. It's like I felt like a real power struggle, and that's probably a me issue.
But it's couples. You know, I think there's a phrase called an egalitarian relationship. Have you heard about this?
No.
Where you have essentially both partners feel like they have strong roles in the relationship, and they could be different roles, but they're equal. The roles are equal. Whereas if you go back, 50 years, actually not even 50 years, 20 years, right? You saw that there was a major imbalance in the power of a relationship. So the fact that you feel that push, that's a standard part. There's a power struggle that always happens in a relationship, so that's fair. You identify now as pansexual as well as bisexual.
I just guess pan, like sexual. Like it wouldn't matter to me if someone was like trans, whatever they identify as. If I have a connection with someone, that'll be it. I just think the way it went with dating women, it seemed very cliquey in London. Everyone's like knows each other's exes. But like I said, if I was out and I met a lady and she was like really sweet and we just vibed, I'm not going to say, oh no, sorry, strictly men now because I've got a 10-year, like it is what it is. And when I was with my ex-girlfriend, obviously them conversations came up. If we did want kids, how would we do it? And obviously there's a million ways you can have kids now. So I won't rule it out, but I just think, I don't know, I look up to my parents and they're like heteronormative relationship, and my grandparents, and I just think, oh, it's just like beautiful. I just want to be, for ages I was like, oh, I'm never going to be a stay-at-home wife, but like there's part of me, I just want to do that now.
Really?
Yeah,
right.
which is weird.
You want to have children?
Yeah.
You want to be married? Really?
Which I never thought. For ages, I'm like, I'm so feminist and never want this.
So then here's the question, and I may have an issue with what you say. We're going to find out. What are you looking for? What's your criteria?
For a partner?
For a partner.
Some have their own goals, aspirations, be driven.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's unhealthy if they don't have much going on. That's when it's gone to disaster zone for me.
Okay.
People get insecure very quick. So I'm like, someone with their own thing, kind, funny, and I think patient when I'm concerned.
All right. I love all of that. But Megan, what do you have on your Hinge profile?
What, have you found it? No, you haven't. No.
What is on your Hinge profile?
I might.
Because you have a little checklist on your Hinge profile. You care to tell me? Or I can remind you.
Yeah, no, wait. Let me tell you what I think it says. Don't speak about sex on the first date.
Okay.
Don't speak about materialistic things on the first date.
Yes.
Don't have bad mental health.
Yes.
Even though mine's fucking mental. Hypocrite. What else?
And one other. Don't lie to me about your...
Hi. How did you find this?
So now, I have an issue with these things.
Why?
This is the issue is what I found that, all right, so, I'm very Jamaican. I have 12 jobs. And one of them is I do head up global research at Tinder. And I see an amazing number of profiles. And one thing that I know for sure is that anytime you see a list of don't, it truly, what it really means? It means that each one of these is an insecurity.
Of me?
Yes. For example, I'll go down the list. Don't chat to me if you have bad mental health.
Mine is, off the Richter.
But you know what? But everyone's mental health is up and down. It's kind of like a battery, right? So your mental health is up and down. But what you're saying is that I actually am projecting. I think that my mental health is bad.
Yeah,
so don't.
But that's why I need a stable person to be like, simmer down, bitch.
But you see how that's not helpful for you. Next is, don't chat to me about materialistic things on the first date. Okay. So what does that mean? What do you think that signals?
I was trying to project, if you're like a dodgy guy or a drug dealer, or you think you just throw money at the issue, I don't want that. I want a real businessman with legit money. That's what I was trying to say. But what does it give?
All right. Here's what's received. What's received is now I just know what lines to run to you when we do have our first date.
Wait, yeah. So they're just going to filter all that stuff and pretend they're into, oh my God, I went on a date. He asked me about hike. Do you want to hike a mountain? That's why.
This
I had a Rolex on. He's not climbing a mountain for shit. Oh,
no, not at all. Not at all. And then last but not least, and don't lie to me about your height. What does that mean? It means that you are fixated on height. And even in this conversation, you've dropped in, oh, he was tall though. He was tall. I was like, she is serious about height.
Yeah, I just want to feel like a tiny little Polly Pocket.
Okay. My recommendation, though, is just to remove these things. Talk about what it is that you want in terms of, you said you want a businessman. You want someone who's ambitious.
Yes.
Do you want someone who actually is going to hike, et cetera, right? Talk about what it is, but then also talk about all the things that you love about yourself, that are quirky. The fact that you are nerdy.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? My ego. Do you find that a lot with people and dating? Their ego gets in the way. Because I just feel like the fact I'm on there, I just feel a bit embarrassed first. I don't know why. And then I think, okay, let me be sassy about it. It's like, oh, okay, I don't need no bullshit time wasters. Let me just put this list in. And if you don't fit this list, then fuck you. But really, I hear what you're saying.
So the point there is that be as authentically you.
Yeah, I should.
This is very, very important. All right. Now, I think this is going to be helpful for many, many people. So you've had some bad experiences with men.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us what happened in these experiences.
Can I just firstly say, I've not spoke about this before because I don't know what's happened. Since I turned 30, I just feel like I've just let my ego go. And I think for a long time, after coming out and seeing all them terrible headlines about me, I felt like I had to be like a robot and be like, no, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I chose sex work and that's what I'm going to do. And nothing's affected me. I'm just an average normal girl. Nothing bad happens to me. I kind of felt like people were going to have the mindset of what do you expect? Because no one's going to respect you anyway because you're a sex worker. To be honest, it's seeing your interview with Maura and Lauren, and they were just being so raw, and it's the bravest thing you can do.
Yes, it is. And you know what happens too as a result of you being brave? It inspires others to be brave.
Well, you've first hand done it, with Maura and Lauren, the way you made them feel comfortable to share. I thought, no, Meg, it's actually the opposite. I thought I was being brave and tough by bottling it in and powering on through and being yeah, I'm a sex worker. What I didn't want to do was add to that narrative of all sex workers are chaotic, had a troubled upbringing, had drug addicts and been beaten and done all this. And I just thought, I just don't want to add to that. But do you know what? Fuck what them people think, because it's the people who I'm going to help and the women who have dabbled in OnlyFans or whether their friends have told them like 4 or 5 times, leave that man. You can see he's got bad like tendencies or anger issues or controlling behaviours, and they've told you to leave and you haven't. It still doesn't justify what happens to you.
Exactly.
So I think that's, important.
Well, if you can, let's walk through it. Okay, and we'll break it down. We'll only talk about as much as you want to talk about.
The first one, for like different health reasons, I couldn't be on contraceptive because my hormones must have been crazy. It just was no point being on it because of the side effects. So we'd always use protection. And he was like, obviously, like, put it on. And at the end, it's like, oh, babe, it ripped. And I was like, I feel like he definitely took it off during. Like, I can't be sure. But anyway, either way, when he said he put it on, it was off at the end. And I was like, what am I going to do? We left it. And he was like, no, I think it'd be fine. Because he was older. I just trusted his word. I didn't really know much back then. He was like, no, it's only certain days a month you can get pregnant. So I just was like, okay, it's fine. Started feeling violently ill. I was pregnant. And I was working in the city, but it was like shit money. My life hadn't even begun. And it wasn't a question of even keeping it with him. So we booked the termination. On the day of the termination, he was like, my car's broken down. I was like, oh, okay, well, we still need to go. What am I going to do? Should I get my mum to take me? No, I'll take you. My mum's going to take her. So I was like, all right. So I went into the clinic, done everything, took the first tablet, and we had to drive back the next day for the second one. On the way home, the mum's driving this van, I'm in the middle, and he's on the side. And out of nowhere, he literally just switched and was like, I can't believe it. You actually just done that. You're disgusting. You just killed our baby. You actually killed it. And I was like, what? And the mum's looking at me and I'm looking at her and it's like, nah, you make me sick. And then he got the seatbelt, like wrapped it around my neck, bit my nose and was like, this was a post-nose job. Think you're pretty with that new nose, bit off, started filming me, go and cry, you bitch. What have you just done? I go and tell the camera what you've just done. And I was like, oh my God, I was in so much shock. I couldn't even have tears. I couldn't breathe. The mum was just carrying on driving like this was normal. I thought, please, can you just pull over? Then in the end, he's like, pull over. And he starts going off at her like, oh, if I'm going to kill her about me, he's like, I might as well kill you as well because you've been a shit mum. I'll give you 10 seconds to run. But we're on a motorway. Cars are speeding past at like 70. I thought, like, even if I try and run, it's just going to anger him more because he's definitely going to catch me. So I just stood there and didn't run. And then I don't know.
I'm sorry. He said, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to run.
But I just thought he's definitely going to catch me. So I just stood there frozen. And it was a big white van. He goes, I'll kill you now and just put you in the back of the van to me and the mum. And she was like, oh, no, don't. Not like, if I was a mum and that was my son, I'd like slap him, be like, girl, run. But she was backing him and saying, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. Why? I wasn't consenting to fall pregnant in the first place. You've trapped me. Like, the whole situation was just crazy. And I had to beg this man and put on my best act and be like, look, I love you. It's fine. Come down. I'm so sorry I've done this. We can fix it. We can try again next month. Just please let me go in. I feel really ill. Drop me off at my parents'. I was living at home. And just drop me off and we'll figure it out. I'll call you. I don't know how I convinced him. I was like crying, whatever. Like, just told him I loved him and I'll see him in a second. Ran in. I was shaking. I was like, to my mum and dad, I was like, lock the door. And I was like, what on earth's happened? I said, just don't speak. I just had to like cry. Told them, my dad thinking he's a dad. He's like, no, it's fine. Tell him to come around here and get his stuff. I never want to see him again. I can't believe it. And I was like, Dad, you don't understand. The man was psychotic. And he wasn't like a super big muscly man. He was only like a bit taller than me, but like it's like he went like black behind the eyes. Like he was just literally like possessed. Then he comes back round with a crowbar and gonna smash my parents' car up. And they've got no money. And I just felt so bad. I was like, this is all my fault. My dad goes out. He's squaring up to my dad. My mum goes out. He strangles her. And I'm just like, what the fuck do I do? I was getting in their car. I don't know where I thought I was driving to. I was in the back of the car. My mum and dad get in the car to drive away from this boy who's at our house. We drive away and he throws the crowbar through the back of the thing. Thank God he didn't hit him in the back of the head. But yeah, that was it. That's the last I saw him. But what a nightmare.
If we can go back through this. So first, what happened was he raped you.
Do you think that counts as rape?
That's rape. Did he have your consent?
And obviously wanted to have sex, but I didn't want him to finish what I finished.
That's rape, Megan. That is, have you heard the term stealthing? Stealthing. It is when someone will act as they will remove the condom in the middle of penetrative sex.
Which I assume he done.
Which is what it sounds like he did. That is rape because there's no consent to it whatsoever.
It was just wild. There is so much like shame around women having abortions and terminations.
Yes. So even in that moment, your family drives off. What then happens? Do you report him?
Yeah, I'm on the phone to the police, like shaking.
Okay.
Even though I just thought, it's going to anger him more. Like there was an element of fear. How's he just literally got in my dad's face? I don't know. What? Oh, people just have fight or flight. But it was just a lot. Called the police. They came, took the crowbar as evidence. Obviously took pictures of like in the van on the whole way back. I don't really want to go into it too much, but it was just being nasty on the way home. So took pictures of like all my bruises and stuff. And then, yeah, later he denied it. So it went from normal court to Crown Court. And then I had to go. But they have like a screen. So I didn't have to see him when I was like giving evidence or whatever. And then, yeah, he went to prison.
You went to prison for that?
Yeah, for like, I think it was like a month or just over a month. I just want people to know, I'm not saying this like, woe is me, I'm a victim. It was so long ago. I've had copious amounts of therapy and like I'm really in a good place, but I just want girls to know it doesn't matter what your profession is, whether people deem you as a slut or you bought it on yourself or your friends have warned you for months and months, leave that man, it's no good for you, he's showing weird tendencies. No one can tell you. It doesn't matter what circumstances have happened. If anyone's done anything like that, tell someone, report it, because it's fucked.
You know, you should be proud of how you handled that situation. When I say how you handle that is that in the moment it was about survival. You then reported it. And I want to talk about reporting because these are stats that have blown my mind. 5 in 6 women who are raped do not report it.
So sad.
40% said it's due to embarrassment. 38% said that they didn't think the police could help. That's UK data. So the fact that you reported it, that's something that you should be proud of. And then what did you do? You said copious amounts of therapy, right? So you did everything that you were supposed to do. And what happened should never have happened to you. But I'm proud that you reported the situation, right? And I'm curious because 5 out of 6 women who are raped do not report it. What gave you the confidence to report?
I thought he'd literally kill me. The way he was acting was literally psychotic. And it's only that we drove away for my dad, who's a grown man, and my mum to leave their house, drive off from this man in a car. He was acting not normal. So unless he was arrested or sectioned, I thought I would be dead. I guess for other circumstances when girls don't feel like their life's in danger and they're sitting on it and thinking, should I, shouldn't I? You have to, because otherwise, even if it's not for you and you think, do you know what, the police aren't going to listen to me, or it's going to take so much time to do this, it's going to drag, for a lot of it, I don't like speaking because it drags up all that trauma, but they've got to think like you're helping other women. I read just on the way in the car today, 3 women a week kill themselves because of domestic abuse, because they can't escape it. So the more we report, the more is going to be done. Things are going to be in place to stop it getting to that level where people think that they have no option than to take their own lives. Like, it's heartbreaking.
In that relationship, were there any signs prior to that incident?
Not really, like short temper, but not the. I think he really thought he was smart. His friends around him were having babies, and I think he thought he could trap me that way. He would like lay there, knew the termination was booked in, rub my belly, and try and make. I think he really thought he could guilt trip me out of it.
Okay.
So I think that was where he just flew off the handle. There was nothing significant before to show the signs, but yeah.
Okay. When you think about other relationships with men, not naming names, but other relationships with men, were there any other challenging moments for you?
Yeah, which is sad because I feel like I'm quite, people see me and I think myself, I'm quite like a feminist, I'm a strong woman that doesn't take shit. And I would say I've had 6 serious relationships. Second one has also been ended, not so crazy, but also domestic violence. With this man, I was very open. It wasn't a serious, deep relationship, but I said, like, I fancy you, like, we have a laugh, I want the best for you. I see you as more of a friend. I'm not in love with you. But that's up to him then to walk away from that situation and be like, oh, okay, well, I've got deeper feelings, so I can't handle you just liking me a little bit. I'm going to walk. He didn't. He stayed. And it got heated one night when he was drinking and God knows what else. He literally, it's like a film, he put a knife to my throat and asked me to type in my bank details, put his bank details, into my online banking and transfer him 10 grand a month because he was taxing me for not loving him. And my hands were shaking and I was like, okay, like smashing my whole house up. Said, yeah, I know you don't love me, you fucking bitch. They obviously had money issues, but me obviously seeing like other men with bad mental health, although I was shaking and petrified for my life, I still thought this poor lost man, he's obviously got money issues or something. So I was like, yeah, let me do it. I don't know how that diffused. I think I set it up and then like text my mum the next day to stop it. But the next day we had suitcases packed, supposed to go to New York. And again, I don't know why I put this pressure on myself, but I thought I don't want to let my mum down. I just wanted to think I'm happy in this nice relationship and I want to prove everyone wrong because again, the narrative of sex worker, chaos and all this. I'm like, no, I can hold this down, we'll be normal. Went to New York, give it 2 days. I don't know what sort of, I feel like it must have been drugs. You can't act like that just off drink, but shouting at me in the street, squared up to the taxi Uber driver dropping us home. So in reception, I was like, no, I'm not going back to the room with you. I'm not. The receptionist was like, ma'am, do you want your own room? And I was like, yeah. He goes, if you go to your own room, I'm going to kill you. So I was like, okay. So I went back and I thought that would simmer him down, like that would calm him down. If I go back to the room, I can like talk him down and it'll be fine. Went back to the room. Worst mistake of my life. He like slapped me. I fell on the bed and then he was just pacing the room for what felt like 4 hours, telling me what a piece of shit I am, that I'm an escort slut, that no one's going to respect me ever. And I was just thinking, do I run? You know, have you seen that Cassie and P. Diddy thing at the lift? Yeah. This kept going through my mind. I was like half dressed. I was like, do I run and press the button and pray that it comes in time, or do I just stay in the room? But bear in mind, we're in New York in some height. He could, if I try and run, he don't like it. I thought, oh my God, he's going to like chuck me off the balcony. So I was like, do I run for it? I just stayed there and endured the fucking verbal beating. He didn't touch me again. But I can't comprehend the fear and the trauma. Like, it just felt like it was going on for ages. And I was just trying to say, like, I'm sorry, I love you. Like, please just stop. And he was just like pacing and telling me what a disgusting person I was. And imagine just thinking, like, I don't deserve. I don't know why the reception didn't just check us alive, to be honest, because that was hell.
You know, because you use the Diddy Cassie example, I have that visualization, and I'm sure that was what she was contemplating. Do I stay or do I run?
When I saw that, I just burst out crying because I just know her heart. I know how she must have felt when it didn't come in time.
Yeah. So you stayed.
Yeah, I just had to put, and then the worst thing was I had a whole extra day to just pretend that I'd forgotten it. It was fine. And honestly, I got off that plane, got in a cab with my case, and in my own house, because he just put all his stuff in my house. I opened that front door, I got my car, drove off, just left in my house. I didn't care about nothing. I just went. What an animal of a man. I just think it's the most cowardly thing to make women feel like that.
You know, I've never heard a story like that.
I'm sorry to get deep, but I just want girls to know, like, it doesn't matter if you're the local area slut, you're in a sex worker, your friends have told you to leave him, you shouldn't feel shame. I don't know why I've held it in for so long. Like, it's fucked.
You've gone through hell.
Literally.
You've gone through hell. But you're here.
Yeah. And I think it's made me, like, it's weird. It's made me, like, softer and more compassionate. I think before, when I was young and making money in the strip club and cocky, I thought I knew the answers to everything. And it's horrible. But I just think it's made me want to be a better person to help other women. When I have sons, I'm never going to let them treat women like that.
Right. I know you're going to be an amazing parent.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah, you are. You are. I mean, I have no doubt about that. You're going to be an amazing parent. Thank you for sharing that.
That's okay.
It will help many.
I hope so. And I just wanted to mention, started working with a charity called Numb. And that's specifically for sex workers that suffer with, like, any kind of, like, domestic violence in the workplace. And I just think all women suffer from violence, I'm sure, in some aspect or another. Or if they do, they should reach out. But especially sex workers, I think there's an extra layer of shame around it because of your profession or how society sees you. And I just want girls to know that that's there.
You went through the storm, but as a result of you going through the storm, hopefully others will not have to go through that same storm. Mm-hmm. So hopefully these stories have saved lives.
Definitely. Yeah, and I just feel like the more people talk about, there is no shame. I don't know why the girl feels shame in this situation. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Megan's story shows that your past doesn't define you. How you rise from it does. She's turned her pain into purpose, using her voice to empower others and advocate for change. The lesson: never let shame silence you. By owning your truth, you not only heal yourself, but you inspire others to seek freedom and hope. As Megan proves, the storms we survive can shape us into stronger, more compassionate people, ready to lift others up.
So then let's explore that for a second. But in that moment, did you feel shame in terms of not wanting to talk about it? Mm-hmm. And the reason was because you thought it would come back and you would look like
chaotic. I brought it on myself. Your life choices. What do you expect when you get your tits out? No one's going to respect you, are they? That kind of mentality. And then just that after that incident happened, obviously I ran away from my own house, and he left. I went sober for 3 months again, I guess, blaming myself. Oh, well, if I didn't have a few drinks, I would have been more assertive in that reception to be like, no, like, and get my own room. But I think a lot of girls, or just victims in general, it doesn't have to just be women, men also, the victim blames themselves, like, what could I have done different?
Exactly. You know, in trauma recovery, one of the first stages is a stage called bargaining. Bargaining is where you begin to look at the scenario and think, what are all the things I could have done differently so that scenario didn't happen?
But it's not your fault, is it?
It's not.
I could have said anything. I could have bent over backwards, bought him a fucking Rolex. He still would have had that nasty energy towards me if I put one foot out of line, really.
Right. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
No, it's fine. Do I have black or out?
No. You're very good at coming
thank
back
God.
on it. You know exactly where it is. You're very good.
I thought I was going to give like Kiss like tribute act there, like Ozzy Osbourne vibes.
Yeah, but it's all come back. It's all come back. Look, yeah, you look great.
Oh,
you look great.
Thank you. I'm sorry to be so heavy, but I just think I've held it in and tried to be this person. It's like, no, it doesn't affect me being a sex worker. No, it doesn't affect me that this has happened to me, but it does. I'm human, and I think by being a more softer, vulnerable version of myself, it can only do good for me. to like get it out of my system, and for other women to think, cool, like she can still be a boss businesswoman, she can still be like a sexy OnlyFans worker, but she can also be a victim of domestic violence that she's speaking out for and trying to help.
Yes.
Don't have to be like one-dimensional.
You don't. And it's interesting, going back to almost where we started the conversation, as I was saying, I knew you were, like, I knew there was this much depth, to your story. And I'm so honored, actually, to be able to learn it, to hear it. And there's a whole nother area that we haven't talked about that is one of the most fascinating areas to me. And that is Megan Barton-Hanson, the businesswoman. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Trying.
Yeah. No. You are doing it. You are doing it. Can we talk about your business?
Yeah, can we?
Yeah. I mean, let's do this.
Yeah, let's like upbeat this.
Yeah. All right. We have to start with OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I think the public impression is? Mm-hmm. OnlyFans queen. Like big money OnlyFans. And you always hear, and I've seen a million of your interviews, and every interviewer is like, how much money do you really make on OnlyFans? Because there's stats, and you've seen the stats. There's certain stats that say at certain points you were the 9th highest income earner on OnlyFans. There's some stats that say you made $800,000 a month on OnlyFans. There's some stats that say you made £4 million per month on OnlyFans.
I wish. I've been my own private island, hon. You'd have to Zoom me for this interview if that was the case.
I was like, I know she made $4 million because she'll come in a helicopter. Right? So it's a wide range, and you don't have to give us specifics, but I would imagine you've made over £1 million in OnlyFans.
Yeah, way over £1 million.
Way over $1 million. Correct me.
Just to let all you hating bitches know.
Way over £1 million.
No, but I've been on there since like 2023.
Yeah. So you've been doing your thing, right? So, but let's talk about it. It's become an incredible platform for so many creators to monetize. Mm-hmm. So how do you, like, if you're going to give the lesson on OnlyFans, how do you monetize it? How have you built such a profitable brand on OnlyFans?
So it really is like a business. I see a lot of people say, oh, you just have to take a few like selfies and upload it. What an easy job. You have to run it like a business if you want to make that sort of money. Okay. So I will schedule my content. I'll have shoot days with amazing photographers, video ideas that are kind of like, so my limit is topless. That's it. Like you don't see anything else. So it's very tricky to kind of be creative with the same pair of tits that they've seen a million times. So I'm like, oh, what are we going to do this time? But I enjoy it. Like, I will get people that are sick at editing videos, like stylists. We'll get all different props, whether it's cooking or on my Peloton bike or oiled up in the gym. Like, we just do all different things. And it's so fun to, like, schedule that content and then see that out throughout the month. And, like, more of it is just more than pictures. It's like, I'll have women who are just newly divorced come and sign up as a way to contact me and be like, I've never experimented with a woman. How do we meet women? Or
interesting.
Even guys who are like dating women, they've got a girlfriend and they're like, babe, would this put you off if I was like, if you're seeing a guy and he said he wanted to do bits with a man? I'd be like, absolutely not. It's like an agony on come sexy page 3. But hotter than page 3. Obviously, it's video content. I don't know. It's hard, but it's a lot of work of scheduling and the chatting. The main thing I think that separates it from just signing on to Pornhub or wherever like people would watch porn is the connection. And I did watch your interview with that other lady who was like, men that use OnlyFans are such losers.
This is Sadia Khan.
Yes. I was like, I watched it and I thought this is really going to wind me up. But I must admit, everything else she said in that interview, I agreed with and I understood her point to extent. Like, but when she's saying every man that signs up is a loser and he's paying for 10 minutes of pleasure and then he's going to think, oh, sorry, what? I feel like these men are having actual intimate connections with someone, so a friend to chat to, someone that they can vent. I think we touched on it earlier.
Yes.
With like the online dating, it's a space for men that they might not want to introduce this into their bedroom with their girlfriend or their new partner, but they might have a new kink they want to try. They're anonymous. They can say to me, oh babe, can I see pictures of your feet? Or whatever it is, try out a new fetish or kink with no judgment.
Interesting.
Pure like anonymity. I'm not going to know who they are. In a safe way with a consenting adult, rather than like going down some rabbit hole and feeling ashamed.
Yeah. It's also interesting too, is because it sounds like a lot of this is what you were doing at the strip club, right? Having these conversations, you're counseling.
Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a relationship counselor.
Being a slightly hot friend for these guys.
You're just a topless relationship counselor. That's what you're.
Literally the big tits. Tell mommy all about it.
Oh my gosh. You know, so with it though, why do you think you've been so successful? Because, you know, doing some research on OnlyFans in particular, so that there's over 5 million creators, right? Content creators on OnlyFans. But there are maybe 300 or more who earn more than $1 million per year. So you have millions of content creators, but only hundreds who are earning high income. So why is it that you believe you are earning high income?
Obviously, the platform of Love Island has given me a bigger audience, whereas the average girl would have to create a lot of noise to be seen because there is so many creators. I think the content I put out, I find it very like sexy, but it's not explicit. And I think that's where people go wrong. They're like, they're starting to see the money grow each month and thinking, right, I've got to push the boundary. Whereas I think you can still be incredibly sexy and hot without like showing everything, because I think then you've capped it. Once you've seen everything, whereas my followers, they're following me, they're like, this month, maybe she might push it a bit more. Or they're still holding on to that hope that they might see absolutely everything. Or it's just more of the connection in the DMs. I do spend a lot of time every day. I'm on there for at least an hour replying to people.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Especially if they're like big spenders and stuff. And I think that's the thing where people miss it. They've just do all this content, but you could just type in on a website, any kind of website, Pornhub, whatever, and see a girl dressed like that. Especially in my case, when you're not doing explicit, you can look on Instagram and see that for free. So the real thing is the connection. And I feel like, especially this generation, there's so many young, lonely people that aren't in a relationship.
Yes.
So I think that's a big reason as why I do so well. I'm genuinely interested. I'm lonely myself sometimes, and I find it fun to chat to certain people. If we've been like building a bond, we've got similar tastes in like music or this or that, I'll chat to them about anything. It helps me. I get bored of an evening. I've got no one to chat to.
So you'll chat with someone who's spending the money
Yeah,
to chat with
tip
you.
me more, I'll reply.
The biggest spender, how much has your biggest spender spent with you?
They pay you like ridiculous amounts for like, to me, like mental things that aren't even hot. So I had one guy and I named him Bug Guy. He basically wants to be as small as a bug, and I just have to put my phone on the floor, walk up in like, normally like PVC latex, and we'll just walk up to the phone, pretend he's the phone, and like stamp on him with my heels and my feet, and he wants to feel tiny. He's paid about 10 grand for that. I mean, he must have a good job, but he can be a bug all he likes for that kind of money. I'll be sitting there like this, I'm not trying to squash you.
You will squash the hell out of him. He's like, take that. Oh my God. All right, so that was one shot. What about, I'm curious, what about over a year? One person?
Damn, I should have looked at these before I come in.
Or what would you just average it out? You thinking about the biggest spender?
I know there's one guy in Ireland and he spends a lot. He's probably spent about 30 grand in literally 2 months. But this is custom, so it won't be like my generic stuff that's on the wall for everyone to see. Or then I'll send separate content to everybody in their DMs, but they have to unlock it for like $30, $40. This is separate. So he will say, look, I want this like pink lingerie, twerking a little bit, doing this, seeing the bottoms of your feet, like just little weird things. I don't do anything too explicit, but he will say all what he wants, say his name, and then I'll just record that just for him, say his name in it, and that's like 10 grand for 5 minutes.
So 30,000 pounds over 2 months for those.
And he does like 2 grand customs, 3 grand customs at a time.
That is incredible. So the question that I need to ask, right, is do you consider that what you're doing in that moment? So you said dressing how he wants to be dressed, maybe topless, right? Is that pornography or no?
In my book, really, if I wasn't in the public eye, I would say no. I would say that's just like set on the same level as like glamour modeling. It's just topless.
Okay.
Whether you're like a still picture of it or whether you're walking around a bit, jiggling around, it's still just boobs. You see more at a beach in Spain or in Europe.
That's true. I've seen more at a beach in Spain. You're right. Oh my gosh. All right. So you don't consider that then pornography? Mm-mm. Okay. So then, you know what I'm going to ask you. Then what is pornography?
I would say what I was doing prior to Love Island, the webcam, that was porn.
Okay.
I guess. Because although it was just me, I didn't do anything with anyone else. It was just me. But I was still doing explicit stuff.
Okay. All right. I see the difference. All right. That's fair. All right. So then how long do you plan to reign as OnlyFans queen?
I always said, I won't lie, I said at 30 I was going to stop, which obviously I'm 30 now. But in my head, I don't feel like 30. I don't know what I thought was going to happen at 30. I just start sprouting like grey hair and like get my Zimmer frame out or something. So I think when I stop enjoying it and it seems like a task, but like right now, I love it. Like next week, I've just booked out the penthouse in the Standard Hotel. It looks amazing. Have you ever been to the Standard?
I've been to the Standard, not to the penthouse.
I'm excited. So I'm going to shoot in there. I've got like people from Manchester coming down to shoot with me, collabing with other girls. It's just a nice like thing to do. But I think when I get sick of that, I'm like, oh, not again. Or I meet someone and like, well, you want to go traveling? Then I'll like put it on hold.
Okay. You know, would you ever date one of you call them subscribers? The subscribers. Would you ever date one of your subscribers?
Yeah, do you know, I want to tell you after who I had as a subscriber, it blew my mind. Well, maybe not actually, but like a musician who's like super famous was subscribed.
Really? You're not going to tell us. You tell us after. Oh yeah, I guess they would want to be private. So that's interesting. So that makes sense. You would have celebrities.
I guess for him,
Famous.
Yeah, I saw it as like when he's touring or whatever, he probably thinks, oh, if I can't actually be asked to entertain a woman in person, he still wants to have that connection. It must be lonely on tour.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you would date him?
No, but like regular guys, I think. And there's like, I do lives, like maybe once a month where it's just me, you know, like a Instagram live.
Okay.
And they can all type, but I'm just speaking. And I really get on with some of them. Like, well, yeah, I don't know. We just like bond over like, I'm like, okay, what should I play next when I dance for you? And I don't know, we just have a laugh. It's just fun.
Yeah. It seems like OnlyFans is like has been liberating for you.
It's a nice, out of all social media, it's a lovely platform because you've got to think about it. There's no trolling, there's no negativity. They won't be subscribing if they hate me. It's just an ego boost.
It's a good point. So would you say that you prefer OnlyFans as a platform to all other social media platforms?
Yeah, that's where I spend most of my time. I do need to step it up on Instagram though.
Okay.
I feel like I'm slacking there a bit.
Okay. All right, fair.
I want to be like the Essex version of Gwyneth Paltrow, you know?
Yeah. I can see that. So then where you are right now in your life today, are you happy?
I won't lie, this year has probably been the most transformative, eye-opening. And I don't know if it is because in my head, I was like, at 30, I thought I would have had a husband, had a baby, or a couple babies, come off of OnlyFans, been out of the limelight, and I hadn't reached it. I'd done a lot of self-work. I got a coach this year, and she's like an authenticity coach because I felt for a while that I'd lost myself. I was like, I've been chasing money from 19. I'm now 30. who is Megan? What are hobbies? What does she enjoy doing? So I've really done a lot of like inner child work, looking at things that make me happy. So after this year has been painful, I won't lie. It's been hard. Not as hard as the one where we worked together and I was a mess.
Yeah, 2019 was a year. Yeah.
This is a close second, but when I'm sat here now, I think I've come through, like, I put the groundwork in and I'm genuinely happy now. I've got so much to look forward to. I'm so grateful for my family and everything I've achieved. So I'm really happy.
Last question. I hate it to be the last question because I enjoyed this so much. My last question is, you've had many conversations throughout your life. If you think back to the most memorable conversation, what did you talk about and who was it with?
I don't want to cry again, but this is like strange. Like, it wasn't even a deep conversation, but my nan is on like end of life care right now, and I saw her on Monday. And she just held my hand and was like, just be happy. And I was like, oh my God, like, it's mental. But like, I think we're all just like looking and waiting to be the perfect weight, the perfect job, the perfect this. And it's like, freely, that woman is they're just built different from her generation. Like, she is a legend, like the amount of grandkids and her kids, and she's just gone through so much shit, and she's still there, and I never heard that woman complain once. And I think now in our generation, we won't get a few likes on our picture, we're like, I think it's the end of the world. Like, I think we just need to put things into perspective and just live for you. Fuck what everyone else says.
You know, so I asked this question to all the guests.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is that most of the conversations are short and simple. Like your nan saying, just be happy, you know?
Few words.
Few words, less is more. And I think it's so poetic that you use that as the most memorable conversation. Because when I think through your life is a story of your search for happiness.
Do you think that's what everyone's life is? Really, we're just looking to be happy, aren't we?
Yes, yeah, we're seeking it, right? But my hope for you is that, well, one is I know that you found it. My hope is that you keep it.
Yeah.
And I believe that you will, because you've learned so much, so many lessons. Like, you've lived 10 lives already. You've lived 10 lives.
Yeah.
But I think that you've now matured to a place where you can pull those lessons and you can use those to not only sustain that happiness, but to teach others.
For sure. And you know that the most freeing thing, I just think I've let go of the shame. Like, this is me. If you don't like it, then I'm not trying to be a people pleaser. I'm not trying to hide any of my truths. Like, if you don't like it, take it or leave it kind of vibe, which is so freeing.
Yes. Well, I'll say this last thing is I've always been a Megan Barton-Hanson fan.
Oh.
I've always. Since the moment we met, I was like, I like her.
Oh, thank you.
But today, I adore you even more.
Oh, that means so much, because I really respect you. You're so intelligent and so smart. Yeah. Even watching maths and stuff, you teach me so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That was excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know why I was here again. It's so nice.
You know why? Because you're being you. You know, because you never see this. I've never seen you teary before.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? Something's changed this year. Age, probably. I'm like, I don't know, I just felt like I had to be so hard for so long and prove everyone wrong, and I'm just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
This is me, bitches.
Yeah.
Now that was an incredible episode, and I'm truly grateful for Megan sharing these personal stories with us, and I hope they inspire more of us to come forward with stories such as hers. Now, the first takeaway I want to look at is how Megan's nan in her final days gave her a powerful piece of advice. She said, just be happy. It's a reminder that we often get caught up chasing the perfect weight or the perfect job or the perfect life, but happiness isn't something we achieve. It's something we choose. Let Megan's nan's wisdom guide us. Stop waiting for perfection and start embracing the happiness that's already within reach. The next takeaway is Megan was reluctant to speak about her experience with domestic violence. And I'm so proud that she felt safe enough to do this now with us. Now, it's not easy, but her bravery will inspire and protect so many others. If you're in a similar situation, remember, you don't have to face it alone. Start by confiding in someone that you trust. Create a safety plan and reach out to a domestic violence hotline or support service. Your voice truly matters, and speaking out can be the first step to freedom for yourself and for others who need to know they're not alone. The next takeaway, this is very important, is that loneliness is a silent struggle that too many of all of us face, but also men face this. And as Megan shared, it often leads people to seek connection in unexpected places just to feel heard. But opening up doesn't have to wait for therapy. If you're a woman with a man in your life, it could be a brother, a friend, or a partner, you can make a difference by creating a safe space for them to talk. Ask them open-ended questions and listen without judgment, and encourage them to connect with others or join support groups. If they're not ready for therapy, remind them that helplines and online forums can offer free confidential support. Together, we can help men feel less alone and build stronger connections. The next takeaway is truly heartbreaking, but it's a true fact, and that is that 3 women a week in the UK die by suicide as a result of domestic abuse. It's a silent crisis that highlights the devastating impact abuse has on mental health. By speaking out and reporting abuse, you not only protect yourself, but create a ripple effect that can save others. Your voice can be the first step to breaking the cycle and driving the systemic change we so desperately need. And the last takeaway is Megan's experience growing up in Southend-On-Sea reflects a dynamic many of us recognize in the communities we grew up in. A strong sense of togetherness where people look out for each other, but also a small town mentality that could judge and resist individuality. So what's the lesson? Community is invaluable, but we must also create a space for people to step outside of the norm and grow. Social media, despite its flaws, offers a chance to connect with broader, more diverse voices and break free from those restrictions. Embrace your roots, but also don't let them define your limits.
Thanks so much for watching, and just remember, around 9 in 10 of you watching these videos aren't subscribed yet. Now, no pressure at all, but if you're enjoying the content, subscribing is a super simple way to stay connected with us, and it also helps a ton when growing the channel. We also look at every comment, so make sure you comment with your guest ideas below, and we'll get your favorite guest on our future episodes. I appreciate you being here, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
I need to come clean and tell you about the love affair I've been having these last 2 years. But before you start thinking that I'm disloyal, don't worry, my wife knows everything. Because even Jill can't ignore how truly, madly, deeply in love I am with the new show sponsor, Huel. Hand on my heart, I carry up to 3 Huels with me every day. Some might even call me a hardcore Huel drinker. And they'd be right, I am. My days start early, so drinking my ready-to-drink Black Edition Vanilla is such a convenient way for me to fuel my body with great nutrition. But the part I love most is Huel is a complete meal packed with 35 grams of protein plus 26 vitamins and minerals to help me thrive. So whether I'm traveling, on set, or recording, I know Huel will keep me feeling good. If you're tempted to have a love affair of your own, visit Huel.com and use code Paul for 15% off your next order. That's HUEL.com.